I know it's windy, but...
There's a couple owls that have been around this area.
Get away, what do you want? Hello, I can't see you. Hello?
It's definitely getting close. What the?
Don't that look like a little goblin devil looking out the window?
Jesus Christ!
On November 19, 2024, deep inside Snowdonia National Park in North Wales, Heather and his friends set out on the hike toward Dwlen Bothy, a lone stone shelter tucked between steep mountain slopes and the dark, motionless waters of Llyn Dwlen.
I'm excited now that we're here.
Where's Luna? We also got Luna today to join us.
The guard dog. You excited?
There's Luna. Yeah, she definitely looks excited. Oh, got everything. So as you can see, the car park where we parked is quite full. So we're a bit worried when we get there. We're going to be sharing the bothy with other people.
Or walking back. Or car camping for the night. The three of us squished in the back.
Spirits were high when they arrived, accompanied by Luna, their guard dog, whose energy matched the group's excitement. The nearby parking area was already busy, prompting concern over how many others might end up staying in the shelter that night. The evening began like any ordinary wild camping trip. Burritos were cooked over an open fire. Cold hands were warmed by the flames, and laughter echoed through the small stone room as everyone settled in.
While Sophie's eating her cold burritos, I'm warming mine up in a fire. We don't eat cold food out here. I'm cooking my burrito. Time to try the burrito. Oh, hey. Oh, look at that. Look at the steam coming out.
Oh, Luna's got it there.
Can you smell the burrito, Luna? It's nice and warm.
One by one, more people showed up. Students, hikers, backpackers, until the bothy was crowded with heat, voices, and movement. The fire burned steadily, and for a time, the shelter felt lively and welcoming. As the night stretched on, the atmosphere slowly changed.
Don't that look like a little goblin devil looking out the window? Well, door.
Yeah, it looks like a little goblin, doesn't it?
If I turn the light down.
Maybe
look at that.
I don't like that.
So can you explain again what you just found out about this bothy since we've seen that picture?
According to ChatGPT, locals say that the lake is haunted and claim that sightings of strange lights and figures around the bothy are common.
Oh my god.
Some say these lights are will-o'-the-wisps, spirits that lure travellers to the lake's dangerous waters. So yeah, there's quite a few things.
And you guys want to go up there now? After what we just seen that picture?
Well, we were at Pendle Hill a few days ago.
Luna, literally before it happened, she was running around like being a normal dog. Now, she won't leave us. Well, look on the bright side. There is like 20 of us here. People camping outside.
Someone joked about the bothy looking haunted, and another began reading local ghost stories out loud. The stories described strange lights drifting across the lake, shadowy figures moving through the mist, and spirits said to draw travelers toward the water on fog-filled nights. What started as entertainment gradually gave way to discomfort. Then something appeared at the window. A pale, unmoving face stared in from the darkness, its features warped and unnatural. For a brief moment, no one reacted. The room went silent as everyone tried to understand what they were seeing. Explanations followed. References to local legends, theories about will-o'-the-wisps, and the suggestion that the lake itself could cause hallucinations under certain conditions. What unsettled the group most was Luna's response. Just moments earlier, she had been wandering the room freely. Now she stood rigid, fur raised, eyes fixed on the window. For the rest of the night, she refused to leave the group's side.
It's been I don't even know how to describe it now. Interesting experience.
My comment.
Interesting experience in this bothy. Yeah, good night. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning here in the valleys in North Wales. So this is the bothy that we stayed last night. As you can see, it is surrounded by mountains and reservoirs. I highly recommend this one.
Conversation faded after that. The fire continued to crackle. The wind pressed against the stone walls, and whatever had been outside never appeared again. By morning, the valley looked calm and bright, the bothy once again surrounded by mountains and reservoirs under clear daylight. The group packed up and moved on, but the feeling of the place lingered. Whether what they witnessed was a trick of light, imagination fueled by stories, or something tied to the lake's long past remains uncertain. Still, one question remains. When a place carries centuries of stories, are they merely legends or echoes waiting for the right moment to be noticed? The story comes from the YouTube channel, The Men's Life, known for documenting solo investigations in some of the most remote and unsettling locations imaginable. The creator consistently pushes personal limits in an effort to record unexplained phenomena, from eerie sounds to whispered voices hidden in darkness. But on this night, a return to a notoriously haunted location would test his resolve more than ever before. He arrives once again at the Caribou Mines wildlands, an infamous ghost town long rumored to be home to a mysterious, cryptid-like presence. This time, he is completely alone, accompanied only by his dog, Kiki, preparing for a long and potentially dangerous overnight investigation.
We are back tonight at the Caribou Mines wildlands. This is a location where there is said to be a cryptid beast that resides. And this has been dating back from the early century. And today we're gonna take it on by ourselves. And by we, I mean me and my baby Kiki. 100% abandoned. Now that is the marker that officially brings us into the threshold of this ghost town. For those of you guys who are just peeking in now, never seen my channel, we actually did 2 videos here. I came here solo and then I came here with Cho the other time. But this location is an abandoned gold mining town. There was so much gold produced here. This spot produced the second most gold in all of the province in its time, dating all the way back to the late 1800s.
The site is entirely abandoned, marked by a threshold that signals entry into a forgotten mining settlement. As he explains the history, the location's past becomes clear. Caribou Mines was once a thriving gold mining town, responsible for producing some of the highest gold yields in the region during its peak. Countless workers lived and died here, leaving behind what many believe to be lingering residual energy. Having visited before, the investigator understands the risks, but remains unprepared for what is about to unfold. As dusk settles, he sets up camp, and the stillness is broken the moment he activates a spirit box. What begins as an attempt to communicate with former miners quickly turns disturbing.
May I touch you?
Whoa, no! No, you may not. May I touch
I'm afraid to talk.
You may not touch. What the? You may not touch me, man. I'm sorry. May I touch you? I'm afraid to talk.
Clear, disembodied responses emerge from the static, referencing physical contact and ritualistic behavior, immediately shifting the tone of the investigation. The activity escalates rapidly. The device issues warnings, urging caution and referencing nearby burial grounds. Moments later, the tension peaks when an unseen force physically knocks an object at the campsite.
Jesus Christ. What the f was that? What the? You fucking serious right now?
Look, I'm here.
Jesus. Who are you?
What the? Yo, something's going on. Somebody just pushed this off the thing.
I'm gonna lose it. I'm literally gonna lose it.
Can you see us?
No?
At that point, it becomes clear this is no longer limited to voices or sound. It is something capable of interacting with the physical environment. Seeking safety, he retreats into his tent. But the terror intensifies as violent impacts slam against the fabric, as though something invisible is attempting to force its way inside.
What's up? Literally, what the fuck? No one's there. What the fuck? Yo, no one's there. What the? Guys, I'm literally looking out and no one's there, and it's going on as we speak.
Despite repeatedly checking the surroundings, nothing can be seen. The banging continues without explanation, confirming that whatever is present cannot be visually identified. When the disturbance finally stops, he gathers the courage to investigate. Outside the tent, he discovers a disturbing print pressed into his equipment case, large, oddly shaped, and unlike anything he can easily explain. It appears to be physical evidence left behind by whatever had been tormenting him moments earlier. Although he eventually leaves the Caribou Mines wildlands, the encounter leaves a lasting impression. Threatening voices, physical aggression, and unexplained marks blur the line between a haunted location and something far more dangerous. Whether this was an intelligent paranormal presence, an unknown creature, or a combination of both remains unclear. But one question lingers. What truly inhabits this abandoned ghost town, and why does it seem determined to drive visitors away? The story comes from the YouTube channel The Northwest Wind, run by an avid outdoorsman who documents his stealth camping adventures in secluded off-trail locations. His videos usually reflect quiet nights in nature, simple escapes meant to disconnect from the world. But on this particular outing, he would learn how quickly isolation can turn dangerous when the silence of the woods is broken by an unwelcome human presence. The trip began routinely at a local park, where he planned to leave the marked trails and find a hidden place to spend the night. He knew camping there wasn't permitted, but the challenge of stealth camping was part of the appeal.
It just blows my mind that time has gone by so fast. Tonight, we're camping at a local park, dog park, walking trails, hiking trails. Gonna go off the trail into the woods. We're camping stealthily because everyone's always like, why not stealth camp at a campground or a park or something? So that's what I'm doing. So that was the end of the official trail. There's all kinds of unofficial trails that go all through these woods. It's a couple hundred acres. Don't think you're allowed to camp back here, but I'm not camping. I'm just gonna lay my head for the night in a stealthy way. And it's like humid from all this rain. My sausages are sweaty. Always have to come back for the camera now. Of course, I dropped it in the snow. That's always good too. I love dropping my camera in the snow. We're gonna bushwhack a little bit. We've been walking for about 15 minutes.
After hiking deeper into the forest, he bushwhacked his way toward what seemed like a flat, secluded clearing suitable for a small bivvy tent. Just as he believed he had found the perfect spot, he came across something unsettling: the torn remains of an old tent and tarp. The discovery immediately changed the atmosphere. Someone had clearly camped there before, but the condition of the abandoned gear raised questions about who they were and why the site had been left behind so abruptly.
What do you know? This looks like a tent or a tarp. That kind of sketches me out. So that's the remains of a tent and a tarp. That means somebody's camped back here before. Now, it could have just been some young punks smoking dope, or it could have been like an Asian Tony type character, maybe Asian Tony himself. That kind of sketches me out. I don't like the vibe I got seeing that.
Despite the unease, he continued setting up camp. As dusk fell, a thick fog rolled through the trees and a persistent feeling of being watched set in. He tried to ignore it while preparing dinner, reminding himself that the park was public. though he was far from the main trails. Still, the sensation followed him, heavy and constant.
I don't know what it is here, but I keep feeling like somebody's watching me, and it's like very, very strong feeling, like hair on the back of my neck standing up. I don't know. I just keep feeling like I'm being watched or something, though. I don't know. There are people around for sure. It's a very public park area, but I'm off the main trails by a ways. It's also very dead back here and foggy too. I don't know if the camera picks up the fog, but there's fog rolling in like everywhere. It's just kind of...
Later that night, inside his tent, the situation escalated. Footsteps approached. Very close. He listened carefully and realized there were two people nearby, whispering to each other just outside his shelter. When he called out, there was no response.
There's somebody, hang on. I don't know if they could see it or not through the tent. I don't think so. I'm leaning right up against the light, but somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent. Somebody's out there. I don't know if they're coming this way or just walking around out there. I can't tell. Somebody's definitely walking around out there, though. Hang on. I don't want to leave the light on in case they could see in here. I think the fly is thick enough that they can't see the light, but still, I'm leaning right up against the lantern, so you can only just barely see my face.
Moments later, hands pressed against the tent, followed by forceful pulling that collapsed it on top of him. In panic, he escaped the tent and ran, leaving all his gear behind. Cigarette smoke lingered in the air as he caught brief glimpses of two figures standing over his campsite.
Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? I have a knife. Get away, what do you want? Hello, I can't see you. Say something, I see you. They collapsed my tent on me. I don't know which way they went. I think they went this way. I see you. Get away! All right, I'm spooked. I don't like this. Get my headlamp on and we're getting out of here right now. They're just standing there. Leave me alone! They collapsed my tent on me and pulled the fly off while I was still in there. Someone's smoking a cigarette too. I smell your cigarette! We're going. I'll come back for this some other time.
He fled through the dark forest, falling repeatedly until he reached a clearing and saw a light moving toward him. That was enough to send him sprinting back to his car. The next morning, he cautiously returned to retrieve his belongings. His fears were confirmed when he found his campsite disturbed, tent stakes pulled out, and his dry bag open. This wasn't a coincidence or a harmless prank. Someone had intentionally interfered with his gear. Though he escaped physically unharmed, the psychological impact lingered. Who were those people, and why did they target him? Were they simply trying to scare him away, or was something more dangerous avoided by sheer timing? Encounters like this raise an unsettling question. When stealth camping goes wrong, is the real threat ever the wilderness itself, or the people hiding within it? The forest carries its own kind of darkness, and it doesn't wait for night to arrive. Sometimes it begins the moment you hear movement circling your campsite and realize it doesn't belong to any animal. It isn't the bear on the trail that unsettles you most. It's what remains unseen, what refuses to step forward.
Today, we're at Mardale in Penrith. I've got Chow with us. There's a cart there. So we've just parked there. We're going to head up Haunted Hill. We've been here before, last year. I didn't get a video of it. So this time, I'm going to do a video and let you see the area where we are. Up this side, Chow. Here, up here. Chow. Wants to wander off. There it is, guys. Walk Corpse Road. Come on up here. So we're going to head up here. I'll bring us back, but we'll get so far up to the off a bit. unbelievable view in it. The water's right down, as you can see. That little island wasn't shown last time I was here. So, heading up this way. I'll let Chow off his leader before long, just to make sure there's no sheep in that about. So I'll bring us back when we get further up.
Tonight, we draw back that veil and enter the silent fear of the wilderness. Raw, unfiltered moments captured as they happened. Clear proof that when darkness closes in, you are not alone. These are the encounters that force campers to leave their shelters behind and never return. Let's begin. The footage, uploaded to the channel Kev's Outdoor Adventures, opens with Kev and his loyal dog Chow heading out for a wild camp on Hunter's Hill in Cumbria, England. The area is surrounded by unsettling folklore, most notably its connection to the Old Corpse Road, a historic route once used to transport the dead across the hills for burial. Kev notes that he has been here before but never recorded it.
Many moons ago, there was a flood, I think from Manchester, in the reservoir, and Mardale was a village, and the water swooped down, wiped out the village, and killed a lot of residents, which is horrible. And this hill that me and Chows came up today is called Old Corpse Road. So what they used to do was, they used to get the bodies on ponies and they would carry them on horseback up this hill to the next town, which is a few miles away. I think it was Shap or something like that. I think that's what it was called anyway. And they would carry them up here one at a time on the back of a horse and take them to the dead bodies to the other city to get buried. And then there's rumours being told that over the years people have been coming here camping and they've heard people walking about, they've heard horses running around the field where they are, up the hill. They've looked outside and there's been nobody about. So, like I say, last time I was here, me and Chow, he was flat out. And I'm lying in my bivvy watching a film on my phone. And it just sounded like somebody was walking around outside my tent in the long grass, scuffling in the long grass, walking around. I went out, had a look. Nobody there.
This time, he plans to document the experience in full. He moves across the harsh terrain, capturing sweeping views of the lake below, its water level unusually low, exposing small islands normally hidden beneath the surface. Kev explains the region's past. Years earlier, a catastrophic flood swept through the valley, submerging the old village of Mardale beneath the reservoir. The Old Corpse Road, he adds, once carried bodies by horseback to nearby towns for burial, a grim practice embedded in the land's history.
Sounds like something's outside, like walking about. I know it's windy, but what's that? I didn't know if you can hear it or not. Right guys, I'm going to turn this light off. Fuck. I'm going to try and get some sleep. I know it's windy, but I just saw it, those footsteps outside as well. Can't hear it now, like, but knowing you feel like people walk around in long grass, makes it a rustling sound. That's what it was like.
Locals have long claimed that campers in this area still hear footsteps at night, and sometimes even the sound of horses moving across the hills. Kev recalls a similar experience himself, lying in his bivvy, hearing faint movement nearby, slow steps passing through the long grass. When he stepped outside to check, the hillside was empty. As the night grows deeper, the wind strengthens. Then another sound cuts through it, steady, patterned, and close. Kev wakes immediately, uncertain whether what he's hearing is real.
Alright guys, we're all getting packed up. It's a bit nippy, windy. Like chocolate in the car now. It's all like sick. Well, not sick, but like it's a bit nippy. So I'm gonna get the tent down. All the stuff's put in the bag. I get this tent down. And we'll be getting out of Dodge City. I'll bring it back when we're all packed up to the off a bit. Right guys, we're all packed up. We're heading back down now. It's getting very cold now. As you can see, that's where I camped. Leaving no rubbish. Chow's got his coat on because it's bloody cold. So we're going to head back down now. Bring it back. Yeah. Get it. Chow, this way, come on. Got his hood on. Right, come on.
It isn't fabric shifting or shelter noise. It's footsteps, slow, weighted, human in rhythm. He switches off his headlamp and listens, holding his breath as the sound continues just beyond his shelter. By dawn, Kev begins to pack up. He attempts to explain what happened, but admits the sound was too exact, too human, to dismiss as wind or wildlife. As he and Chow descend the hill, the tension hasn't fully lifted. He laughs lightly on camera, but the unease remains clear. The encounter could be explained by shifting air or unseen animals moving through grass. Still, the timing and the deliberate rhythm suggest something harder to ignore. Perhaps the legend of the old corpse road still lingers, carried by those who never truly left. Was Kev truly alone on that hill, or did he share the night with something older, tied to the valley's buried past? Sometimes, what we call folklore is simply history that refuses to stay quiet. On June 26, 2025, a video posted to the channel Uncle Reggie opens with the creator finishing the setup of a small tent after an unexpectedly brutal hike. The journey had gone longer than planned, leaving him drained and carrying more weight than he should have. He pulls off his boots, finally ready to rest, and speaks openly to the camera. This is his first time camping alone, far from home. He tries to project confidence, but the isolation is already pressing in. Being deep in the forest with no one else around brings a silence that feels heavy rather than peaceful. Reggie explains that watching camping videos online never truly prepares you for the real wilderness, the unfamiliar sounds that begin once darkness settles in. As night falls, he keeps his firearm positioned beneath his legs, close enough to reach. It isn't reassurance, but it offers some sense of control against the vast darkness outside the tent.
Did you hear that? Never heard that before. But one thing I do know is animals don't like fire. So that is why I made sure I had a fire. It's definitely getting closer. something happens, it's gonna happen on camera. That's for sure. And it's so dark in the woods that when you look up in the sky, it looks like it's actually could be earlier than what it is. But it's actually 10 o'clock. Whatever it is getting closer. But we shall see.
Then the quiet breaks. A sound, soft but distinct, cuts through the still air. He stiffens instantly. It isn't something he recognizes. The noise comes again, nearer than before, carrying a steady rhythm that feels intentional. He reminds himself that wildlife avoids fire, which is why he made sure the flames outside stayed lit. The tension builds. What once felt calm now feels alert, as if the forest itself is paying attention. His breathing grows shallow. He admits that if something goes wrong, it will happen while the camera is still recording. The sound continues to creep closer, the pauses between each movement stretching longer and heavier. Eventually, fear outweighs curiosity. He retreats fully into his tent, acknowledging that whatever is out there feels closer than before, and deciding to lie down rather than investigate.
A little info about the camping. Of course, I overdone it with some things. I'm starting to observe that what's changing is I'm getting rid of this sleeping bag, and yeah, I'm gonna do it a little different, but I really did enjoy it. Whenever I finally calmed down, I had to call somebody to make me feel better. Hearing these noises, they do play a trick on your mind, so be prepared for that. Make sure you're not somewhere too far where you don't got absolutely no signal, and especially for your first time. But yeah, I did plan on showing y'all everything I had. I don't think that's gonna actually happen, because really this is the bulk of my items. About to finish cleaning up, get myself together, find a way to pack a little better this time, so the walk up out of here won't be so excruciating. But enough talking.
When morning arrives, sunlight filters through the trees. Reggie appears worn down but relieved. He admits that sleep barely came. To manage the anxiety, he stayed on the phone with someone throughout the night, just to hear another voice, just in case something happened. The rest of the video takes on a reflective tone. He laughs uneasily, recognizing how much he overpacked, while also realizing how unprepared he was for the mental challenge of being alone. The solitude, he explains, has a way of amplifying fear in ways equipment can't fix. The sounds he heard were likely wildlife, possibly deer or smaller animals moving through brush. Still, prolonged isolation in darkness can warp perception, turning harmless noise into looming threats. Yet the measured rhythm of what he described leaves uncertainty behind. Was it simply the forest pushing against his nerves, or something drawn toward the only source of light for miles? Out here, fear doesn't always come from what you can see, but from what stays just beyond sight. A video posted to the channel. The Haggett Project opens with Jake preparing for a wild camp near Mount Rainier in Washington State. The plan is straightforward: put a newly purchased sleep system through its first real-world test. But the setting quickly reminds him who's in control. Strong winds rise from the valley, and dense fog drifts in, erasing the surrounding landscape in layers of gray.
It's rather windy here because we're out in the open, and most of the wind is coming up from the valley. You get a few gusts here and there, but I think we're gonna be all right. If not, I've got a backup plan I'll show you here in a second. Backup plan if it gets too windy, this little side road here. It's nice and flat, and the wind doesn't quite reach there because there's a little shelf of these trees.
After a long drive, followed by nearly 2 hours spent assembling the unfamiliar setup, fatigue begins to set in. He jokes about how much longer the process took than expected. The air carries the sharp scent of Douglas fir, clean but biting. Moisture clings to everything at this elevation, his clothing damp with dew, the ground holding cold beneath his boots. By the time darkness falls, he crawls into his sleeping bag without bothering to cook. A small time-lapse camera is positioned to capture the night sky before his headlamp clicks off. The camp gives off a faint glow against the shadow of the mountain, quiet, remote, and exposed.
It's a little strange. It's not perfect. It's massive though. Look at the size comparison to the vehicle there. It's Mount Butte up there, surrounded in clouds. It's officially dark, so I'm gonna continue to get some lights set up. So pretty hungry. I ended up taking like 2 hours to get this, whatever you call it, set up, which, you know, being the first time, that's to be expected, I guess. There's just this really nice smell in the air around here. I guess it's the Douglas firs. Oh my goodness. This chair is soaked. Everything when you're high up gets soaked with all the dew. So as you saw from earlier, this is the whole dome thing. But inside, since this doesn't have a floor or keep the bugs out, I've set up what they call a tandem tent. Strung the top of it to the tarp poles that hold this thing up, and then staked out the bottom. I got my sleeping pad in there and the sleeping bag and pretty much ready to rock. And there's my little night light. There's the full effect. Not gonna lie, I am exhausted. Spot I was tempting to go to. I had never been there before and couldn't even drive to the end of it. Basically, a lot of driving, so I'm contemplating whether I should start cooking dinner or just bag it. So I'm leaning towards that. The stars are out. I'll use this camera and I'll set it up to do some time lapse. Probably go to bed, wake up early, and do some cooking tomorrow.
Several hours later, distant owl calls pull him awake. Something feels off.
There's a couple owls that have been around this area. Pretty cool to listen to. And I'm glad I woke up when I did because my phone died again. And so I'm using this as a backup. And I'm able to charge my phone camera battery.
His phone battery has already died, and the camera isn't far behind. In low light, he fumbles to connect a backup power source, realizing how quickly the cold has drained everything. Then another issue becomes impossible to ignore. Moisture is dripping down. With only a mesh inner layer beneath the tarp, condensation has built up above and is now falling directly onto his sleeping bag. The protective dome-style setup he came to test has failed under real conditions. The night drags on. Water continues to seep through. His tone shifts to weary acceptance as he explains that the wind hasn't let up, everything is soaked, and rest isn't coming. By early morning, the temperature drops even further. Cooking is no longer an option in the gusts, and he makes the call to end the test early. As he packs up, he looks drained, but relieved to be moving back down the mountain. The failure can be traced to a sharp temperature swing combined with heavy humidity near Mount Rainier, causing condensation to collect inside the shelter. Without a proper floor or insulation, the experimental system couldn't manage the moisture. More telling, however, was how exhaustion and exposure magnified every problem, turning what was meant to be a simple gear trial into a genuine endurance test. The mountain didn't confront him with animals or violent storms, only quiet indifference. How often does a test of equipment become a test of resolve? Out here, comfort disappears fast, and nature always decides when the experiment is over. That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.